And welcome to our outdoor studio today. We're in Bateman's Bay. Thank you very much for watching, by the way. And if you do get a moment, please subscribe to the channel. Now, making my way up to Sydney, I'll be there tonight. So in the next couple of days, we'll be actually doing the program from Sydney. Probably not looking out across the Harbour Bridge or the Opera House, but we'll try and find somewhere quiet to bring you all the latest news from Thailand to you. Now, we will be speaking quite a little bit later, about a project to help people who have been devastated by the floods in Phuket. What we're seeing, of course, is blocked roads and inconvenience to traffic, but there are some communities that have literally been deluged. And they can't get in and they can't get out and they can't get food in. So we'll be covering that a little bit later in the program and indicating ways that you might be able to help. Anyway, let's get started. So in our first program today, a story I saw in the Bangkok Post. Ministry eyes steps to spur spending efforts to maintain economic recovery. Now, I thought there might be a long list of things they're going to do to initiate spending and get us all putting our hands in our pockets, but no, it was basically just a long list of diatribe speaking about how they intend to look at ways to initiate some spending and to stimulate the economy. But there were some interesting stats at the end of the article saying that the IMF's Thai growth projections for next year had fallen by 0.3 percentage points to 3.7, but at least that's still growth, and indeed quite good growth. The second paragraph, Mr. Pornchai said that Thailand's reopening and the return of foreign tourists have played a key role in reviving the economy. And I just knew those kids were going to do that. Yes, local hooligans here in the park out for some fun this morning. Now, the country expects 8 to 10 million tourist arrivals this year, with high numbers forecast for 2023, of course. Now, we should also say that the TAT, the Tourism Authority of Thailand, have been predicting for quite a few months that they're expecting 1.5 million tourists to come through the turnstiles for the last 3 months of this year. Now, it's not sure yet whether in October, the first of those 3 months, that number's been reached. Just reminding you, of course, that the TAT are very happy just to count everybody that comes into the country and through the borders, even if you're just a day traveller or coming in to buy a bag of rice from Malaysia into Thailand across the southern border, you're a tourist. So yes, we may or may not reach that 1.5 million travellers into Thailand, but let's hope we do, and let's hope that by the end of the year we've got a slight increase, the best months for weather in Thailand, and hopefully people might have an opportunity to travel at that time, although looking at the airfares, my goodness, very expensive to come into Thailand at the moment. Just noting down the bottom of that article, he said that Thailand had sufficient fiscal space to handle global economic uncertainties if the world goes into recession next year. Just noting that Thailand didn't put its hands in its pockets much during the global pandemic. It didn't pay out a whole lot of fiscal stimulus, and it does have good cash reserves as it heads into a time when much of the world is going to be in recession. That may indeed include Thailand, although I think they're in a better financial position than a lot of other countries as we start to move towards 2023. And down the bottom of that article, as of August, Thailand's public debt to GDP ratio stands at 60.7 with a ceiling of 70%. The country's GDP is currently 16.9 trillion baht, so 60.9% is actually quite a low debt to GDP ratio. That story from the Bangkok Post. To the next article today, and families of the pub inferno victims seek action against state officials. Now, this is all about the Mountain Bee fire in Sattahip on August the 5th, noting that another person died over the weekend, bringing the death toll from that fire to 25 officially, and there are still many people who have got critical injuries and still in hospital, I imagine in unimaginable pain. and those people too suffering. So this story, quite interesting. Families of victims of the horrendous mountain bee fire in Chonburi Satahip district have demanded legal action to be taken against state officials for dereliction of duty. Now, this is an important question. I mean, did these state officials get paid to make the paperwork go away? Why was this basically large barn, without any proper fire exits or sprinkler systems, allowed to open and let hundreds of people in, dancing the night away, only, unfortunately, on August the 5th, to suffer a horrendous fire where 25 people have died? It's easy to go after the owners, easy to go after the manager, but let's check the state officials. Let's follow the money and see how this place was allowed to trade. Further down, the lawyer is representing 31 families and taking that legal action to the Central Investigation Bureau's Complaint Centre. And just noting these top two paragraphs, Mr. Ranarong said the mountain bee inferno claimed many lives and left many others severely injured. Legal action was being taken against the pub owner for recklessness causing death and injuries and opening and operating an entertainment centre without the required permits. The case was being handled by public prosecutors. But let's read the second paragraph, and I think this is key. There had still been no investigation into the actions of certain state officials also responsible for the tragedy. State officials had been negligent in failing to inspect the building and fire prevention and mitigation equipment to ensure it was in compliance with the law. Let's chase these people right around Thailand. There are so many bars and little clubs open around the place that don't have proper fire protection. And it's all very well to enjoy the freewheeling spirit of life here in Thailand. But when it kills people, I think we really need to crack down on those situations and make sure they don't happen again. You're watching the TNT program today, coming to you from a public park in Batemans Bay on the southern coast of New South Wales in Australia. Making my way to Sydney today, and all I can say is it's bright blue skies and a very nice day indeed as I sit under the shade here. Just further to that last story, workers demolished the fire-gutted pub building last Saturday, so good to see the end of that building, and let's hope any new building that emerges on that place is properly built, properly licensed and properly inspected. Now to Apec, and the politics continue. From The Nation today, Putin wants to attend Bangkok APEC summit, but it's complicated, says Don Pramudwinai, who's the foreign minister here in Thailand. Russian President Vladimir Putin has not confirmed whether he will attend APEC next month. And down the bottom there, from Don Pramudwinai, Putin wants to attend the meeting, but he has to consider a lot of things such as complicated travel arrangements. The complicated travel arrangements would require getting onto an aeroplane at one end and getting off at Bangkok. I'm not sure how complicated they'd be, except of course for the security provisions. Don doubted other APEC leaders would be deterred from taking part in the summit if Putin turns up. Well, let's see what happens with that. Be interesting to see the way the photographs are organised, who's standing behind who. Be funny to see Kamala Harris standing behind Vladimir Putin, doing that behind his head. Further down in that article, last Tuesday he said no member country had said it would stay away from the Bangkok meeting. I insist that every member of APEC will be in attendance, represented either by their leader or delegates, and actually the current list of people who appear to be coming to APEC looks quite strong. Let's just have a quick look here. We've got Russia, the president there, not confirmed. China's president, Canada, we've got the president there, South Korea, going well. We've got you've got the sultans and presidents and prime ministers. Okay, Mexico's sending their economic minister. We've got the Prime Minister of New Zealand, Peru, the president, and Saudi Arabia, the Prime Minister, the Crown Prince is coming. Singapore, why is Saudi Arabia? I didn't think Saudi Arabia was in APEC. Anyway, there you go. Singapore, we've got the Prime Minister, and we've got a representative of the Taiwan Ministry, and then France, we've got the President and the Prime Minister of Cambodia. So it looks like a lot of the actual leaders are coming to the APEC meeting. including, it looks like, a little bit of a special visit from the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia making an appearance. So a little bit more politics, and Bumjai Thai denies its massive 6.35 billion baht bridge project in South is aimed to win votes, noting yesterday that there were accusations from the opposition parties that the whole cannabis decriminalisation was all about winning votes. Let's check this story. There are two bridges. There's one there from the Krasai Sin district to Patalung's Chaisan district, and that's going to cost 4.5 billion baht. And there's one between Krabi's Kok Klang and Kotlanta Noi Islands, and that will cost about 1.85 billion baht. The construction should start in the latter half of next year, be completed by 2026. And down the bottom there, here we go. The Transport Minister, who is also Bumjai Thai Party's Secretary General, says the bridges will be funded through foreign loans, 30% of which will come from the World Bank. The Public Health Minister, Anatun Chavidakun, who is Bumjai Thai's leader, denied these projects were a tool to win votes. He says that the Patalung to Songkhla Bridge will cut the travel distance by about 70 kilometres. So it looks like the pork barrelling is underway, and the election campaign hasn't even officially started. So it's all go, go, go at the moment as the parties try and dig into their pockets. The Bumjai Thai Party at least have a presence in cabinet at the moment and can get the funding through before the election campaign starts. Let's have a little bit of a look at that bridge. This is from Thai PBS World, and the Thai cabinet approves 6.6 billion for the two bridges in the south. Well, that looks pretty fancy, doesn't it? Now, the south is not necessarily well known for its tourism, and 6.6 billion baht on a fancy bridge, I'm sure the locals would be very appreciative. But places like Phuket, for example, which contribute a lot more to the economy of Thailand, they could be putting or spending that 6.6 billion on putting the tunnel through to Patong from Katsu. It's been spoken about for 20 or 30 years, but it still hasn't happened, and that money, I think, could probably be better spent as an investment into Thailand's economy. But of course, we don't deny that the South deserve good infrastructure as well. But be aware that that really is pork barrelling and an effort to woo votes in the South, which has previously been a strong point for the Democrats in the past and also some of the opposition parties. So I think plenty of politics being played there. Noting there that the new bridge will be new logistics and tourism routes for southern provinces, linking the three southern provinces of Songkhla, Patalung and Trang. It will help promote tourism in areas around Songkhla Lake and in neighbouring provinces and ease the traffic flow on the highway between Songkhla and Patalung. The Cabinet has made it clear, however, that an environment impact assessment must be conducted first to make sure that the bridge project will not negatively impact the fish conservation zone. So more work to be done on that before it's all signed off and started. So good luck to the people down there in the south of Thailand. This is TNT. Thanks for watching from Bateman's Bay today, and if you do get an opportunity, please subscribe to the channel, and thanks to our sponsors, 5 Star Marine. Yes, this is TNT coming to you from Bateman's Bay. Bright sunny blue skies here. It's not the same, however, in Phuket. And it's actually my home, but apart from that, it's home to some 500,000 other people of a permanent population, and many areas are inundated. And it's not looking good for at least the next week. Apart from the heavy rains that started all this on Saturday night, the rain persists. And there are some 60 communities that are literally deluged, and they're having trouble getting in and out. That includes getting food in and out. So the Phuket Hotels Association yesterday started a charity, and they've already started delivering food and water into those areas. Let's check what's going on. Here we've got 5 Star Marine was involved with their staff getting some water and food into some of the worst affected areas, and thanks to all the volunteers that have been working over the past 2 or 3 days to help out some of these heavily affected areas. And you can see that sort of level of water, whilst the rain continues, and it is continuing to rain, is causing a lot of problems for people trying to just live their lives. So there are ways that you can help, and I'll refer you to those in just a moment. But good work by the representatives of the Phuket Hotels Association, many of the hotels and their staff rolling their sleeves up, rolling their pants up in some situations, and setting out to get food to some of these worst affected areas. So I'll refer you to an article which is a link in the description under this video, which has got all the locations you can help. They're looking for bedding, they're looking for clothes, they're looking for food, and they're looking for water. They're the primary things that they're looking for. If you are able to help, the drop-off locations are listed in that article at phuket-go.com. There's a link in the description, and you need to drop off anything that you can do to help if you are down in Phuket by 10 a.m. tomorrow on Thursday. So if you are able to help, there's some drop-off locations in that article. You'll need to get them to those drop-off locations though by 10 a.m. tomorrow. Anything you could do to help those people worst affected would be much appreciated. Let's just go to the weather there for Phuket for the next 2 or 3 days. We've got rain the next 3 or 4 days, and then all the way through next week, the precipitation chart showing that there is rain there from 80 to 100% all the way through the forecast period. So it's not looking good for the people in Phuket. So very sad there for not only the tourists that are trying to have a good time, but for those people who are stuck in some of those low-lying areas and certainly suffering the worst. So certainly very difficult for the people in Phuket trying to get around at the moment. Our thoughts with those who are the worst affected, and hope some help gets to you very quickly. To our final story today, and also from Thai PBS World, the Thai Central Bank defends new controls on cash deposits via CDMs. The Bank of Thailand is defending new rules for cash deposits through the automated cash deposit machines, basically ATMs where you can put your money in to your account. And it's been introduced by the Anti-Money Laundering Office. And we can see down there under the AMLO's new requirements, which will come into effect on November the 15th, cash depositors will be required to use their credit or debit card and their PIN or password. This is all a way of trying to make sure they can track where the money's coming from, I suppose. Otherwise, they'll have to go into a bank branch to deposit their cash and pay a fee for the service. A number of bank customers have expressed disagreement with the new measure via social media, claiming it will unnecessarily increase their financial burden and inconvenience. Well, I don't think it's too much inconvenience to just do a quick identification by using your credit card, your debit card, or a bit of ID. Anyway, that I'm sure will be a topic for discussion on social media. And with that, I thank you very much for watching today. I've had a bright sunny day here. I know a lot of people haven't. There's still plenty of flooding in central Thailand, around areas just to the north of Bangkok, even in northeast Thailand as the water rushes its way to the Mekong River. And of course down in Phuket where they've had torrential rain, which is causing a lot of problems for a lot of people. And we hope they can get help to them very quickly. Just once again, there's a link in the description to a story which will give you some drop-off points if you're able to help those people in distress at this time. Please subscribe to the channel if you get a chance. In the meantime, from me, and just me, thanks for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow.